Terminator 2 Judgment Day is one of possibly the greatest action sequel of all time. For the longest time, it was my all-time favourite movie, and it's still easily in my top 3. I was obsessed with everything related to this movie. The fantastic storyline, the way they transformed arguably the greatest villain into the most badass superhero, the atmospheric, goose-bumping, inducing score, James Cameron's distinct cold metallic blue teal colour palette grading, and most obvious of all, probably the most perfect casting of all.
Okay guys, we need an actor that's well built and not only sounds like a robot, but naturally acts like one too.
Nowadays they probably would have just slapped Chris Pratt into the role. But yeah, Terminator 2, it's a pretty decent film. I didn't need to tell you that. This sequel, along with the original movie, are so universally loved by all that everything ever released within the world of Terminator since then has just not been able to live up to the hype. Besides, Terminator 2 3D, but I digress. But outside of theme park attractions, we also got a whole heap of video games. Video games that I loved back in the day, but honestly, taking nostalgia out of the equation, they haven't exactly aged as gracefully as the movie. And yes, I'm talking about even the top tier ones. But then, almost exactly 1,000 days after Judgment Day, we got to see a teaser trailer for a brand new Terminator 2 game, and honestly, it didn't look real. Depicting iconic scenes from the legendary movie in a stunning pixel art style, wholly unique to Bitmap Bureau thanks to lead artist Henk Nyberg, fans rejoiced as this was a true love letter to the franchise. The trailer simply just got it so right. It felt unbelievable. Seriously, it felt like one of those fake game trailers you see for old classic movies that you're never gonna get. The only difference was, this one was real. And now, several months later and several delays later, just like Judgment Day, it's finally here. It was inevitable. But does it live up to the hype for a hardcore Terminator 2 fan like myself? Simply put, yes, it most definitely does. But that doesn't mean that it's the perfect game. Spoiler warning for those that don't want to spoil this game, and yes, I do mean that, as the game does have a few surprises, even for those hardcore fans that could script the whole movie. If you are one of those people, I suggest you stop the video right here and take this one quote with you. Terminator 2D No Fate is my game of the year. Let me know down in the comments once you've come back and completed it, and let me know if you agree with the rest of the review. Right, let's get to it. Straight off the bat, I don't think I've ever played a game that closer depicts the source material than Terminator 2D. It not only pays homage to the movie, but it pays homage to retro gaming as a whole. With that said, you will be surprised to hear that the first thing you do in Terminator 2D isn't in the movie. The first few levels are sort of prequels, if you will, to the movie. And the ending, well, that does the same thing too. Mike Tucker, the design director, stated in the review document for this game that fans of Rolling Thunder, Shinobi, Elevator Action Returns, Contra and Metal Slug should feel right at home with this game. And having done complete histories on all of those franchises, I can wholeheartedly say he's right. For me, the core game feels slightly somewhere between the old school Terminator 2 side-scrolling games and, well, like he said, Metal Slug. You're mostly running along, shooting bad guys, some of which require different maneuvering than others, and just like all of the best classic side-scrollers, learning how to take down each one is all part of the retro gaming fun. Other levels feel more like a mix between the Shinobi and Rolling Thunder-esque styles of games, and heck, I would even say Ninja Saviors too. And then you've got the car chasing sequence, of which this game has two. Both are essentially the flying carpet levels from Aladdin, with a dash of wild guns thrown in. And personally, in my opinion, we got nowhere near enough of these style of levels in the game. Couldn't you have added a scene with this vehicle? Essentially, for the right sort of gamer, is ticking all the right boxes. And for any fan of the movie and retro games, and I know there's plenty of you out there, it's giving you an exciting and, more importantly, a memorable experience. Unfortunately, the novelty does wear off for a small section of the game after that. Sure, like the movie, nothing will ever beat the first time you play or watch it, but what I mean is that levels like the one where you need to escape the mental facility, once you know what to do, end up being something that you just simply need to get through to get to the real core gameplay found in this game. This level in particular went from, oh my god, this is so good, to, right, well, let's just get this over and done with, shall we? Pretty quickly. When you know what to do, it's completable in about 2.5 minutes without getting hit once. The idea is excellent. You're armed with only a baton and you need to escape knocking out security guards, hiding indoors, dodging security cameras, and most importantly, staying well out of the way of the T-1000. Unfortunately, not only is this a crazy easy thing to do, even in hard mode, eventually you realise that getting spotted by security guards isn't a bad thing at all. In fact, it's quicker if you do get spotted to get through the level, well, quicker. After playing other on the edge of your seat moments in games like Metroid Fusion where you're running away from the SAX, in my opinion, that game does it better. And it's just such a shame because I know this could have been better in Terminator 2D. I mean, you're running and hiding from a Terminator. This should be proper scary stuff. But sadly, you get 3 interactions with the T-1000 and they're all super easy to avoid. I actually ended up having to go back to get killed on purpose just to see what would happen. Where is my car chase sequence in the car park at the end of this level? That would have been perfect. Heck, you can even see the top of that level near the end of the stage. Here's looking forward to when Boundary Break opens up this game to see what is down there. The same sort of feelings can be said for escaping the police station, where the team brilliantly gives you this cool mechanic where you take someone hostage until you realise it's actually quicker if you just let them die and get through the level quicker. And you pretty much never need to dodge for cover in doors or cabinets on either of these 2 stages. But playing levels like this are still good fun, and honestly, I haven't played the running out of the police station level on hard mode yet, so hey, that level may be better on that mode. But with that said, everything else in the game is just pure classic arcadey fun. Sure, it only took a couple of tries to complete the game on its standard setting of no problemo, but I had plenty of fun doing so, and thoroughly enjoyed working my way through the harder, true standard mode of the game. For me, I'm truly so happy that Bitmap Bureau put both these difficulty modes in the game from the get-go. Some of their previous entries have been a little bit harder for casual players, but this game's normal mode, which is really the easier mode, even though this game does have an easier mode, which would be even easier, is a great way just to get through the game if you just want to enjoy the story and play it like the movie. Put this game in hard mode, which is really normal, and you've got a fantastic retro throwback that all retro gamers will love over and over and over again. When Terminator 2D gets it right, which it does 80 to 90% of the time, it knocks it out of the park. And once again, for fans of both retro games and this movie, it's an absolute no-brainer. You must play this game. On top of reliving most of the best scenes from the movie, as stated, several stages take place outside of the movie's timeline. Although on your first playthroughs you may be thinking, oh my god, get to the movie bits, on repeat playthroughs, these are actually some of the best levels in the game. Not only do they expand on what you know and love already, but after completing the game first time, you get given options to change up a couple of key moments that open up extra levels and storylines in the game. That's right. Remember that part of the movie where John Connor suggests they reset the chip in the Terminator's head? Well, you can actually choose not to do that in this game. And you can also decide if you kill Miles Dyson or not. What does that mean for the end of the story? Well, you're going to have to go and find out. But from a gameplay point of view, by doing this, it changes up some of the later levels and in some cases gives you whole new levels as well. It's a fantastic way to bring that old school retro vibe into the new era because, let's be honest, and boy am I going to be losing some subscribers over this opinion, but if you ask me, just because a game is old, it doesn't mean that it's better. Look, I hold the opinion that games are getting better. Yes, of course, classic games will always be classic games. But with the new tools and the technology that's available to new developers these days, we are able to create those classic games that you remember more often than not better because we have better experience to be able to create better games. You just need to know where to look for them. And I believe that Bitmap Bureau know this better than anyone. They love and appreciate retro games, but with new age tools at their disposal, they're able to make the best retro games they can, but create them by today's standards. This game feels like the best ever unreleased Amiga, Mega CD, probably more Saturn era game that we never got. And if we did, every single gamer would look back at it as one of the greatest games of all time. And that sentiment goes for all of their older games too. And let me be totally clear here, that's not just because of the gameplay or its connection to one of the greatest movies of all time, but also its soundtrack. Oh my god, I hope they are able to release this soundtrack on, well, anything, because even though the game is almost exactly what I want, the soundtrack is exactly what I want. And every single other Terminator 2 fan wants too. It is pure perfection. It was created by DJ legend Feature Cast, who gave us not only one of the best soundtracks of 2022, but one of the best video game soundtracks of all time with Final Vendetta. Seriously, just go out there and check out that soundtrack. It is incredible. Terminator 2D soundtrack is obviously not as EDM heavy as that one, but instead, it's a perfect video game rendition of the classic movie score. All of those donks, guitar riffs, metal clanks, tribal drum beats, and of course the iconic synthesized hum is just perfectly reworked into a sublime soundtrack that fits the game and, more importantly, the Terminator 2 world. You've got rock tracks, electronic tracks, and suspenseful cinematic tracks, all of which use the original cues, sound effects, and melodies that you know and expect without overusing them. Sorry to say, Tommy, Joey, or Sammy, whatever you're going by these days, but this is now the best Terminator game soundtrack of all time. From my understanding, Feature Cast went as far as to incorporate the use of the Fairlight CMI synth, which is the exact same synth that Brad used on the original movie, to make this feel like an extension of what you would and should expect. Discovering how Brad used reverse trumpet sounds when the T-1000 melted, and then using those same techniques again in this game shows the level of detail that Feature Cast has gone to for this game. And honestly, that same level of love and attention can be found by the entire team that worked on this game. Prepare to get your member berries out and eat the whole punnet, as you will constantly see little animations or background elements that you didn't notice the first few times around. For fans, it helps make those extra playthroughs way more enjoyable. So yes, even though it does have a few rough edges, it doesn't take away at all from the final experience. Would I have done things differently myself? I mean, yes, maybe a little, like how one of the easiest things to kill in the game is your standard Terminator. Who remembers John Connor from the first movie saying, "Listen and understand, that Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with, it can't be reasoned with, it doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop ever until you're dead." Heck, these things are unstoppable. I genuinely remember having a nightmare as a kid after watching this movie. Little did I know that Terminators can't duck or shoot downwards, so they're actually quite easy to kill. Hang on, is that the boss from Sonic 2? Look, at the end of the day, if you take all of my minor criticisms, put them all together, they all boil down to just one thing. I want more Terminator 2D No Fate. That's not saying it's a short game either, far from it. Thankfully, you've got 19 levels, I think, in total, when taking into account the varying paths and the different players throughout. Yeah, sure, some of which are a little throwaway, and yep, they did miss out on some of the rather epic parts of the movie too. But what we have got is the most nostalgic homage to a movie franchise since, I don't know, Lion King on the Mega Drive? Who's ready for an 8-year-old recreation of DJ Slope? You ready? Here we go.
If you ever come back, we'll kill ya!
Oh my god, Mum! They said the thing in the video game!
Look, if you're anything like me, seeing those iconic parts of the movie play out in the video game, it gives you the feels. For retro gaming and Terminator fans, this game is an absolute must. And if you do fit into that very specific space, in a year when we've had some of the best retro-inspired games in a long time, for me, Terminator 2D No Fate stands out on top. And as stated, this is my game of the year. And sure, yeah, some of that might be down to the fact that they've got the Terminator license. But I promise you, if I had the Terminator license, I would be waving that flag all day long. It's a great use of the license. Which begs the question, what's coming next? After He-Man, of course, are we going to be getting Aliens? I don't think we'll see another Terminator 2D game. We don't need another Terminator 2D game. This is the best movie. You could have RoboCop. Die Hard would be a pretty solid bet if you ask me. If they're able to get it, that would be a great 2D game. Let me know down below what you think Bitmap Bureau should do next. But if you ask me, the absolute number one thing they should do is The Last Dragon in the style of a Streets of Rage brawler. Can you imagine it? It would be the perfect game. Like, you've got midway bosses throughout the entire movie. The power-up is you literally glowing and being the master. The main bad guy at the end has a gun. There's a discotheque level. How hasn't this happened yet? This is such...